weird because it's like the last 3 years we were taking honors classes and they were like, oh, you're the cream of the crop, you're working the hardest. But then now you get to senior year and it's just like, oh, what am I doing now?
I think that sometimes there's a frustration with the students valuing what the teachers have to offer. I feel like the teachers have a respect for the students and what they, who they are and what they have to offer.
The good stuff is they allow, more opportunities, give you the classes that you should, be receiving, help you a lot when you graduate, and maybe you can get a better future.
It's okay in certain schools. Seems like certain teachers like certain schools better.
I personally don't like the magnet school concept, and I know that you all go to magnet schools, but I just like open enrollment. I think you should be able to go to any school you want to go to, whether it's a magnet school or not. I don't think magnet schools should be the only schools that people get a choice to go to.
Some teachers, they'll teach and then they'll try to help you or whatever, and other teachers, they just don't care. They don't even try to teach, help, or can't teach.
Doesn't the teacher, they turn in every month they turn in a thing what they're gonna teach every day. If you're organized and you put everything we're supposed to learn in whatever day we're supposed to have it done, then we should be able to learn everything by the time we take the test instead of just cramming it all in 1 week.
But then some kids, it takes longer for them to get it. And so they have to stay on it for longer. And so then they do end up cramming everything.
But I think it depends on the subject. Like if you're taking an honors or an AP class, then it's just like that's an expectation of the teacher. Like you are required for everybody to understand the material, because I think it's better to understand than to have the quantity of how much you can learn. It's just more of understanding the material that you're learning.
Each school has its own set of issues. You might find one school where the issue is there are a lot of gang issues, and then you'll find another school where the issue is you have the achievement gap between boys and girls, or then there's another school, there's an achievement gap between the classes or the sexes or the races, whatever. Each school's going to have its own set of issues.
I have a problem with when the state lowers their standards and then more kids get pushed into those honors classes that shouldn't be there.
But I think that only happens because there's no other hope, so it's like, okay, let's push them into something and maybe they'll put some effort into it, or maybe they'll try, and most likely they won't because they'll just give up eventually.
I think we need to look more carefully at the people that are failing classes, and not only failing, but I think that it can be depressing, and that we're putting so much stress on people and making them feel like a failure at a young age.
If you push them on when they're not ready, they are going to perhaps continue to do poorly.
In the year 2007, the dropout rate for Hamilton County schools was 6.4%, which is nearly double that of the national, which was at 3.8%.
The state of Tennessee falls in the middle with a dropout rate of 4.3% of the same year.
When you teach students to pass tests, that's teaching them to learn as well. But the idea of teaching students to be well-rounded in their learning process, I think, is more valuable than the paper and pencil tests.
I think socially we aren't prepared at all as far as being citizens and doing what's morally right. I don't think we have the problem-solving skills that we need. In order to fix our own problems, we automatically go to a teacher or somebody and, they tell us what to do and we do it.
I agree with you on that to a certain extent. I know at the beginning of the year, I was like that. I would run into Dr. Nyson whenever I needed help on something. But that's one of the things we talked about in dual enrollment, like the first couple of days. What we're doing wrong, and that was depending on a teacher too much. We were dependent, every time something went wrong, we depended on the teacher to get us out of the situation. But she taught us that in college, we're gonna have to be on our own, and she did kind of segregate herself from us and made us solve a lot of the problems on our own.
Other students who don't get the opportunity to take her class, they're never gonna learn what we learned in that class, to be independent of the teacher.
So I do feel prepared for college. And I think that's what high school is supposed to do for the student.
we can kind of get the social aspect, I guess, because our school is so small. Like, you can jump into something. Like, you can jump into a club, you can jump into a sport, and you can start doing that. And, you know, balancing out like what you're pretty much like what you're going to do in college. Like, are you going to be a leader? Are you going to be doing a sport or something like that? And our school does that well.
I think it's about adapting to your environment, you know what I mean? Like, here in high school, we're brought up to come to school every day, do our work if you want to graduate, if you want to pass. But in college, you get more of a choice, so you're going to have to adapt to making your own choices. Like you said, being more independent from the teacher.
Yeah, I feel I'm prepared, but I feel like it's certain subjects that I don't need, like history and stuff.
I would rather replace difficult with challenging because I don't feel no class is hard. I feel if you apply yourself, then class will be just challenging. I like class, yeah.
Well, some of my classes are, but mostly, no, they just a joke. They're just something for me to do throughout the day.
I don't feel that I'm being challenged in any of my classes.
That's why I enroll in honors classes, so I can get the challenge. Because I get bored easily, so I have to take challenges and challenge my own self.
It depends if you take the honors or AP classes. Like, you know, if you want to get challenged, you'll take those, but if you don't want to challenge, you don't want to work hard, you just take the regular classes.
The education is fine, but it could be a little bit more easier at times, but other than that, it's fine.
It's impossible. And I'm an art teacher, and I even find it challenging, but the good thing about teaching art is it's much more individualized, so everyone can kind of discover and create at their level and whatever's challenging to them personally. But in something like math or algebra, you're expected to all get a certain score, and that makes it hard to individualize it.